Hey, we're live on this pantsless podcast.
Yes.
I'm to be clear. I'm wearing shorts. I'm not wearing pants. Short pants.
ABP, man. ABP. Always be pantsless.
That's right. Pants are for suckers.
Not all points bulletin. Always
No.
be pantsless.
No, that's a much different thing. All right. TVGP is live. Put that there.
Yeah. No, now is not the time for me to get a notifications phone.
Hey, did you know TVGP is live?
Yes, I did. Oh crap! Yeah, that's exactly what it was, wasn't it?
I know, phone. I'm on the fucking show.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Jesus.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the if the vibration of my phone getting notifications comes up. So
it didn't sound like it, but if it does, that's pretty great. Hey, you're live. Purr, purr.
Yep. Louise, you need to get the hell out of the door. So I joined Snapchat, by the way.
Oh, nice. Hey. I'm on Snapchat, too.
Because I have a phone now that apparently can use it.
Can do things.
Which, out of all the issues we've had this week, at least that one got sorted out.
Yeah. Hey there, T-Bomb Rocks.
Oh, hey T, smile. I'm going to nod. I'm going to pretend my internet is working as I'm connecting and disconnecting to the Twitch client right now. So, yay! I hate my internet.
Alright, looks like we're live on pretty much everything.
Awesome.
YouTube's having some problems connecting.
Shocker. But yeah, no, at least my phone is, as far as I can tell, my phone is fixed now, so I can do games on the app and stuff like that. Which,
nice.
It made me laugh because me and Hannah kind of jumped off into direct messages, which, thank you for the help, by the way, Hannah. I need to send them a direct message in Discord. Jeez, it's one of those weeks already.
I know what you meant.
But yeah, I need to send him a thank you on that because he was very helpful in figuring out the solution.
Mm-hmm.
And we looked, the more and more we looked into it, and literally, if I would have bought the phone I've got under the Sprint network, the issue wouldn't have occurred. But it's
really?
the specific model of phone I've got, when you buy it unlocked, is when the issue occurs. So out of all of the different methods of picking up the phone, the one I do is the one that has the issue.
Oh, well, and that figure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you got it resolved.
But yeah, it all seems to be fixed now. So I am strike forcing it with the best of them.
Icetown says, Boston's discussion God of War made me get it this week. Thanks. 2 thumbs up. You're welcome. It's so good. We will talk about it on the show itself. But Moonpier probably didn't see the leak. It's probably came out of Australia or New Zealand, like it usually happens. But it seems like Nier Automata got a classification.
It got an
for
Xbox release.
One.
Yeah. I was talking about it with T-Bomb last night, I think it was. And this pleases me to no end, because if this game is as good as everybody says, I will play it on the PC, and I will play it on the PlayStation 4, and I will play it on the Xbox. And get my sweet, sweet Chibos. Yeah,
I really hope it comes out on Xbox One. Just because we were talking about it on Pup yesterday. I just want more people to play it. Like, I'm not one of those guys that's like, it was an exclusive and now it's not. And it's like, the PC version isn't that great. They sort of pooched that. So the more people can play it, the better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's something like, it tells you the, she will hear this eventually, but it tells you the mental conditioning of my wife, like, while we were having the internet issues throughout the course of this week. I think I posted a tweet saying, times like this, I kind of wish I had a Switch, which would be the one console that doesn't really need an internet connection.
Yeah.
And then I could catch up on, Galaxy and Breath of the Wild and everything else. And she responded with, I think you mean a Switch Blade, because my wife was all about cutting a fool.
T-Bomb Rock says, we'll listen tomorrow, guys. Have a great show. Thank you, T-Bomb. See ya.
See you too. Have a good day. Evening, whatever. I don't know.
Wherever you are.
He's Florida, I believe.
Hey, Scuttle.
So he is East Coast, but he also has 3 younglings to take care of, I believe. I think it's 3. 2 or 3.
Yeah, so who knows what time it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, this is why I'm glad I'm on the cell phone, because I managed to get into Twitch, I managed to get the app up and running, I managed to get the video showing, and now it says 2000 network error. Ha! And I don't have an internet connection anymore. So, preparation, success.
Jeez. I really hope this episode sounds okay. If not, this gonna be like... It's gonna be one of those episodes where, like... You know, it's just gonna sound a little messed up, and... You know, I'm gonna do what I can with Audition, but, you know... We can only do so much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of glad the office has a cell connection, is because we've got double backups on your end.
Yep.
You're doing your audio, and I can actually do mine in the office, so hopefully it will be okay.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can get it uploaded at some point.
Yep.
Yeah. Alright, are you ready to kick this thing off?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's go.
Yeah, fuck it.
Let's rock out with our socks out.
Alright, let's get started here in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me via our satellite campus out in the TVGP East Coast is Moonpier.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Moonpier is
Can you hear me now?
If you've been in Discord, Moonpier, you probably know that Moonpier has been having very frustrating internet issues all week, so he is joining us via cell phone. And I apologize in advance for any sound issues, but we're gonna do a bit of a shorter episode this week. We'll save everybody's questions for next week. But in the spirit of the show, wanted to give you as much of a show as possible.
Yeah. Never miss a week.
Whoop, go ahead.
I just said never miss a week.
That's right. Hashtag never miss a week. Alright, let's get started with what you've been playing.
Let's start with the easiest one first and foremost, which is Lego Marvel Avengers.
Hey.
I am on track. I've pretty much got 100% in the base game right now. The only thing I've got, because I got the season pass, is like 18 packs of DLC. So
right.
I'm taking them kind of on a piecemeal basis, like just doing one of the levels a day. I do have a bit of a glitch going on right now with my Captain Marvel DLC, but hopefully that will fix itself. But one of the things I wanted to talk about, like normally I probably wouldn't mention this until I get my full gamer score in it, which I am saving the last achievement to be the 100% achievement because I'm weird.
Well, I mean, you want that to be like the capstone.
Yeah, exactly. That should be the one that gives me that notification that says, you beat this game, yay!
Yeah.
But I just wanted to mention a couple of things about it, which I think we've discussed time and time again, like how certain things the Lego games do that we appreciate. Like I mentioned it before, and still my go-to example is the achievement for I think it's the Lego Marvel Avengers. No, the Lego Marvel Superheroes game, where you are Captain America and Human Torch, and the achievement is, "Hey, do I know you?" Question mark,
Yeah.
because they're both played by the same guy. Little things about this one is it's got the whole space Earth thing level transition. I didn't realize it until I was doing it this time. When you do the level transition to Asgard, it changes the loading screen from the clouds on the spaceship to the Bifrost, which is a
cool.
really nice touch.
That's nice.
And something that I've noticed throughout the course of the game and kind of wanted to give it a final mention is when you are Iron Man, when you choose the change character button, it goes into a face camera for him, and then all of the suits you've unlocked are basically on this menu in his visor. And depending on what suit you select, it depends on the animation for his suit appearing.
Oh, wow.
So if you choose, I think it's the Mark 30 suit, which is the suit from Iron Man 2. That's the one in the suitcase he carries around.
Right.
So when you choose that one, a suitcase gets dropped off in front of him, and he opens it and puts the suit on, like
That's
the
cool.
exact same way. If you choose the Hulkbuster suit, like the pods drop from the sky, and he jumps into it that way. If you choose, like, I think it's the one in the first Avengers movie where he like lands on the tower and it disassembles the suit as he's walking.
Yeah.
It assembles the suit the other way. Like, it's really cool. Just
That's really cool.
stupid little touches. It's so dumb and so good, but I think we're one of the few people who like can say Lego games, they're not the best games, but you know what? They're still stupid fun.
Yeah, like they might not be the best game, but I'm usually having a pretty good time.
Yeah, exactly, and that tends to be kind of like, it's always there when I need it to just be like, I don't want to think, I just want to smash some stuff, which usually is the solution in Lego games, is smash everything.
Yeah, just break everything. Oh, I can build something cool.
Yep, exactly. But enough Lego Marvel Avengers for now. Played a little bit more Shovel Knight. That game is crazy, like in a good way. Like the music, the art style, everything. Again, not going to say a whole lot right now. Save that for what is it, 2 weeks away?
Something like that. Yeah, I actually started that this week too, and I forgot how much I really love that soundtrack. And for me, it's from front to back. It's like one of my top 10 soundtracks. It's so good.
Yeah, like that game is. I mean, not even mentioning like the art style and the controls.
Yep.
Like that game is genuinely a fun game so far. Quick shout out here for Dead by Daylight as well. The talk on the show managed to convince horror fan T-Bomb Rocks and his friend to pick it up.
Oh, nice.
So I spent probably about 3 hours yesterday doing some sherpering and some Dead by Daylight sherpering, which usually involves getting stabbed a lot. But it kind of made me laugh because they said they played it on Friday night when I was actually in bed. And then all of a sudden we had like 5 successful escapes with all 4 survivors escaping. We had a really good run. Like, who knew it only takes one person who knows what they're doing for this game to actually be, more competitive.
Right.
But no, Dead by Daylight still super duper fun. I'm hoping I'm going to side door T-Bomb back into Isaac that way as well, so ha 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 ha.
Keep breaking him down.
Yeah, as I said to Rob, I said, welcome to the poop house.
Yeah.
Sorry, correction. Welcome to the poop show, because
Yes.
I didn't phrase it as poop. But yeah, so Dead by Daylight is still super duper fun. Unfortunately, I haven't had a whole lot of time to play a lot this week, so I have 2 more games to talk about. Kind of only put like 2 hours in so far, but Super Mega Baseball 2 came out last week and was the Games with Gold game. So I decided to load it up, give it a shot. They've added an incredible amount of stuff into that game.
Ooh.
It's still the same base game. The artwork is, I think, a lot crisper, a lot cleaner. It's a little less exaggerated characters-wise, but I don't think it does it a disservice. But it still feels really good to play, and like they seem to have increased the speed of the game. Like maybe it's just frame rate wise, but the game runs. It feels like it runs a lot smoother, a lot easier, and they've included a custom teams thing where you can design your own logos, design your own names, choose the uniform colors and everything like that. So I have officially started my own team in it. It has 2 different game modes in it, or 2 different types of modes where you can have custom teams and have standard teams. So, of course, I increased the stats of every single character on my team to 99, because why would I not do that?
Yeah.
Best part of that is you do get an achievement, and it's called Don't Worry, I'll Make This Fair.
That's really good.
Because, that never, ever happens in any of these games with that kind of ability.
Yeah.
But no, Super Mega Baseball, like it still does what the old game did so well, which is it's the contact, it's the speed of the game. It's the sensation of nailing that power swing that's more difficult to do, and then just hitting a 450-yard home run, especially with bases loaded. And it's kind of great and kind of terrible at the same time, because they've added a bunch of animations and things in for successful times while you're there. And one of the guys on my team, when he hits a home run, when he gets back to home plate, he chest bumps with the next batter and then dabs.
Of course he does.
Because why not? You know, it's just the chest bump I can understand. I could do without the dab.
Yeah.
You know, I get it. You kind of go for that humor, but at the same time, everybody's doing it. Doesn't mean you have to.
Yeah.
But yeah, Super Mega Baseball, it's really kind of still cool. I'm curious to see what longevity I'm going to get out of this in comparison with number one. Because I still kind of want to go back and play a lot more of number one. Like, number one is still a genuinely fantastic game. And if you're on the Xbox and you've got gold and you want to play around, let's play around. I don't mind.
Yeah, it's free with games and gold.
I'm not at work. Yeah, exactly. Like, if you are gold, you have it already, or you should have it. And if you don't, that's your fault. But yeah, Super Mega Baseball 2 specifically, is still really good fun. Like, really good fun. And let's see, my last game this week is Marvel Strike Force.
Ah, yes.
Yes, because I felt I know we talked about this game a little bit on the show already. I felt it necessary to bring it up specifically so I can refer to it as Marvel Galaxy of Heroes.
Yeah, that's gonna be my question for you this week, because you had started it up and you joined the Alliance, and like, we're doing raids and we're doing all the good stuff we'll get to, but I was really curious to see, since you dove so deeply into Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, how similar these two games are. It sounds like really similar.
It sounds to me like, and it plays to me like, they are the exact same game.
Huh, interesting.
The biggest difference, like, Galaxy of Heroes is what, I think it's like 10 years old or something. Like, it's pretty getting on there, yeah. Like, for a mobile game. The only mobile game I think that's older than that is Marvel Puzzle Quest.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, Marvel Strike Force, I keep saying Marvel Galaxy of Heroes, like, in my head. Strike Force, I think it's the UE3 engine, or the UE4 engine, I'm guessing, just based on the shininess of the people.
Yeah, but it's a really good-looking game.
Yeah, like, I give them credit where it's due. They've done their work with the character models, with the animations, and things like that. But if you strip away the Marvel layer and you strip away the engine layer, and it's kind of exactly what Galaxy of Heroes was.
Yeah.
The campaigns operate the same. You get the 2 free orbs the same. The premium system is the same. The raid system is the same. The arena system is the same. The blitz system is the same.
Wow.
It's the way you unlock characters and gear and your progression is the exact same. It's like, I started playing it and I was thinking, this is complicated, and then I started looking at everything. I was thinking, no, it's not. This is just Galaxy of Heroes. I can do this. This is easy for me.
Yeah, you're like a seasoned
I
vet
played
already.
Galaxy of Heroes. Yeah, exactly. I played Galaxy of Heroes for like 4 years, so I'm absolutely fine with this one.
Yeah.
The only big differences is there's certain things that they do differently. Like, raids is a good example. Galaxy of Heroes has raids, but they are all 50-man raids. They don't do small raids, which I think is a very good addition, which allows smaller teams to have an impact on a larger objective, which I do appreciate.
And smaller alliances like us can do like a full raid successfully without having to worry about, like, well, we have 12 people, but we're going to do a 50-man raid. Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. That was the biggest issue with Galaxy of Heroes for me, was if you didn't have a raid that was participating, you struggled. And it became then a huge grind to try and get it done, especially on, like, the heroic events where you only have a limited number of days and you can't respawn your people, which, you know, it's kind of tough. But they do some things differently, which I do appreciate, like the orb fragments that you can pick up, like where you get, like, you do a mission or you do a challenge and you get like 200 fragments of a premium orb, and then you get a premium orb after you get 2,000. Right. That didn't exist in Galaxy of Heroes, so when you wanted premium, you went premium. So
it's like you spend the money or not.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Whereas this, I think this does a better job of metering out that premium content for you.
Yeah.
A much better rate, which allows you to not feel like you are not progressing that much. Like, there's still some things I'm not sure about. Like, I think I posted on Discord about the raid tickets. Like, I need to know the differentiation between the purple and the blue ones, because one of the things that happened in Galaxy of Heroes was only leaders and captains of an alliance could start raids. Whereas on this, it seems like anyone can, but I'm not sure if in this case, is it the purple tickets are character or account specific, so you can start a raid using purple tickets, and the blue ones are done by the leaders kind of thing.
Yeah, no, the difference between the two is one of them is a Thanos ticket and one is an Ultimus ticket, or it's basically the two different raids. So one goes to one raid and one goes to the other one.
Okay, so that should be interesting. But yeah, no, Strike Force, I'm enjoying it. It's very familiar to me because it's giving me that Galaxy of Heroes itch. The one thing I'm not a huge fan of is the fact that obviously I've only just started playing this, whereas Galaxy of Heroes, I was playing it for so long that literally the only characters I hadn't unlocked in that game were the fresh ones that they came out with when new movies or whatever came out.
Right.
So I'm used to it feels weird because I'm used to looking at this system, these ways of doing things, and being like, I've got a team for that, no problem. And in this case, I haven't.
Yeah, we were actually talking about this game on Pup yesterday, and the one thing that is sort of, I think, frustrating everybody in the Alliance now, because all of us have been playing less than a month, is when we go into these raids, it's very clear, like, the raid energy, you get like 50 of them, and one node takes 10, and they regenerate over time, but your units don't heal over time. And I think...
Yep.
I think what the game is trying to have is sort of say, like, get as far as you can with your A team, and then swap out people for your B team, and do that, and sort of rinse and repeat down your roster. But none of us have a B team right now. Like, my A team is really strong. I'm like 22,000 power right now, and then everybody under there is like, you know, my Spider-Man, I think I posted it in Discord, is like 6,700 power. Like, my next person is like 1,000. So it's useless. I mean, that other unit is going to be completely useless. So, that's not a bad thing. It's
that's
just...
exactly...
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, that's exactly how the raids in Galaxy of Heroes worked as well, was you go in, and because I don't know if it works in this game, but it did in that, there are synergies between teams, like for example, if you have Star-Lord, one of his powers gives you bonus chances for attack if there is a Guardians team member on the same team as him.
Right.
So one of the things that I used to do in Galaxy of Heroes was that the raid gets harder as it goes along. So I would always start off with my D and E tier team.
Right.
And then once they were dead, I'd switch to my C, then my B, and then my A team for like the end of it.
Yeah.
But I also had them all synergized so that like I had a first order squad so that they were all getting the maximum attacks, the maximum bonuses they could get because they were all first order. I had a Jedi squad for the same thing, a Sith squad for the same thing. So I'm curious if when we get to a higher tier or higher level, if it's possible to assign squads like that, because in Galaxy it was literally like one button press to select squad, another button press to pull out my first order squad, and then just send them into battle rather than having to fish through my menus to find them.
Right. Yeah, I feel like we sort of don't know because we just don't have enough characters yet, but I'm hoping if they don't have it now, I'm hoping they do. Because like, you bring up a great example, like the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, if you can put 5 of them in one team and they have some sort of synergy between each other, that would be pretty cool.
Yep. And honestly, if it's as similar to Galaxy of Heroes as it seems to be so far, that will probably be in there somewhere.
Yeah. And since we were just talking about the Alliance, for anyone that wants to join, the Alliance is public. It's called Next Wave Agents of Hate. We have a Discord channel for it that also has the name in there. It's only half full and it's public, so you want to play Strike Force, which I would recommend. Download it and check it out, and ignore the current sales banner for Black Panther, which is a hot $50.
Yep.
Which is ridiculous. And here's something interesting. I played Final Fantasy Brave Exvius a lot. Usually they'll have those things where it's like, oh, for $20 you can get, a bunch of pull tickets and then everything to level that character up. The bad thing about Black Panther, this ad they have, is that $50 gets you just the character and not things to level him up. And that sorta sucks.
That was very much something, I can't remember who it was in Discord who pointed that out, who said the game doesn't feel pay to win, but if you want to pay to win, you sure can. And Galaxy of Heroes was the exact same way. Whereas, you don't have to pay to make progress. It takes a little bit of time, but you don't have to. But if you want to, you can drop $3,000 tomorrow, no problem.
I have all the characters, I have them all leveled up, but I think the point that you brought up with the premium orb shards is really good, because you sort of get those regularly enough that maybe once a week or once every other week you can pull a premium orb and you'll get some good stuff or get some rare character shards or stuff like that. But it never feels, it feels very much like there are non-playing characters, or non-paying characters and paying characters, but it never feels like some games where it's sort of the haves and have-nots, where it's like, you're free, so, the most units you can have are 10 really crappy guys, but look at this dude with 60 of them! You'll never win an arena against him. It doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, no, I think the most important thing they do really well is they do the matchmaking balancing really, really well in the Blitz and stuff like that, because when a new Blitz rolls around or when a new arena session rolls around, you'll go up and down equivalently, but it will never just I've seen it happen in other games, free-to-play games, where you will get dumped up against somebody who is so super ridiculously overpowered because they have just bought the strongest people in the game.
Yeah.
And it's well, that feels a little nasty, but I'm not going to drop money on it because you're trying to... It feels like that Destiny slash...
yeah, you're trying to goat me into spending money.
Yes, exactly. I can't even... Activision, that's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
They feel like they're patents.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Strike Force is really good, and if you haven't been playing it and you're interested in a mobile game, it's there, and it's really handy as well, because it does what... I have to give them credit, because I don't know if they lifted the whole game layout from Galaxy of Heroes, or if it's a twin studio, partner studio kind of thing.
Right.
But the thing I have to give credit for is they included all of the quality of life improvements that Galaxy of Heroes had to struggle to put in there bit by bit.
Right.
For example, the auto win feature.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yep. Now, played that game for 2 years without that feature in there.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it a little bit better that, there's an auto battle feature and you can speed the game up to 3 times, but it's still not as good as I want to auto win 10 times, it takes 60 energy, and here's a bunch of drops. And it's okay, cool, I'm done.
Yep, exactly. It's it's a great QOL feature that I'm glad they took all of that stuff as well as the base game kind of thing. But yeah, Strike Force is really good, and that's all I've been playing. So if there's nothing else to say on it,
I'll move on to the rest of my list. Really quickly, I platinumed God of War. Obviously, no spoilers.
Of course you did.
This is my 29th platinum, I think it was. I was sad to see that game go. I really had a ton of fun with that. I will recommend something that we actually talked about between breaks on Pup yesterday, because it sounds like Museum's show, the Carousel Podcast. Find it at thecarouselpodcast.com. they were talking, and his co-host felt like they were going to sell an additional ending as DLC, you know, sort of Asura's Wrath style. But I disagreed because this is not a spoiler, I promise. At the end of the game, they sort of dump you back in the open world, and your son says, well, we could really go ahead and do anything, or we could go home. Wink. So the game repeats that maybe a handful more times, like when you get out to the Lake of the Nine, it's like, boy, there's still a bunch of stuff we could do, or we could go home and rest. So I wanted that to be the last thing I did, and you get a sort of an additional little ending when you do go home at the end of that. That sort of teases and leads into the next game. So for anyone that maybe feels like they missed something, maybe you should go home and rest. Wink. But yeah, go play God of War. It's incredible. Yeah. Yeah, someday.
Yeah, eventually.
I was given a new game by a publisher, the game that I feel like is getting a little bit of press here, called A Robot Named Fight. I'm playing the Switch version, not the PC version. The press release touted itself as a Metroidvania roguelite, and I thought, well, that sort of smushes together two things I really like, so I almost feel like I have to give this game a shot.
It's that, let's face it, that press release is tickling all of your buttons all at once.
Oh, yeah. So I got the key from the publisher. Thank you very much to them. I think it's only like $12 on PC and Steam, which isn't bad at all. I really have to say that it is a Metroidvania roguelite, which I didn't really think was something that would work well, but it's really a one-person studio, which is pretty incredible. He manages to make... we talk about this every once in a while, and I feel like this word has gotten sullied by Google and YouTube, but the algorithm the game uses to generate its levels is really pretty smart, because it manages to stick to what Metroidvanias do really well, which is take a large area but kind of funnel you through until you get the upgrade you need, and you'll get an upgrade that's you know, one of the examples is you can't get under this sort of low wall, and you walk around and you get an upgrade that's a slide, or you push down and you hit A and you turn into this little spider that goes underneath, and at that point a whole new path opens up, and then you find another room you can't get into because it's too hot and you don't have the right suit, so start exploring, and sort of rinse and repeat in the way that makes Metroidvanias really really rewarding. But at the same time, you have that roguelite where you're just trying to make it as far as you can, and first time you beat a boss, you unlock a new item that'll drop, or first time you kill 1,000 enemies, you do the same thing, the classic sort of what I think you and I associate with Binding of Isaac, where which I also said,
yeah,
almost said Binding of Moon.
The Binding of Moonfall roguelike. Yeah. But yeah, no, that sounds exactly like Isaac, and to a similar extent, even though I've never played it, Rogue Legacy, where it's like, yes, you die, yes, you restart your run, but progress was made and something carries over.
Yep. Yeah, and a lot like Rogue Legacy, you're going to have similar elements. Like you're sort of going to go through this first section, fight a boss, go through another couple rooms, and then you'll get into another section. Like the first area is kind of a space dock area, the second area is caves, third area is the factory. That's about as far as I've made it on the maybe 15 or 20 runs I've done so far, because I'm not like most roguelikes. When you start it, you're not very good because you're learning the controls and the rules and what items do. So most of the time I'm doing maybe a 20 to 30 minute run that ends up with me dying at the second boss. I've gotten past it once and got into the next area. But I think my only criticism of this game so far is that it's a little too reliant on breaking walls. It feels very much like it's influenced by Super Metroid in that regard.
Yeah. When you say breaking walls, do you mean breaking the fourth wall, or are we talking about actually breaking walls in the game?
Actually breaking walls in the game. Like, a lot of times you can sort of tell which walls need to be broken, and then you sort of go through there, and there'll be either be an item or, like, that's the way to progress for the rest of the level. One of my frustrations, though, is the very first time I played, the very first room is very much like you spawn and you talk to a person that's going to give you a bit of a hint for some sort of feature in the game, and then there'll be a bit of a longer room, and there'll be an item in there that you a sort of semi-hidden item you'll find. I got stuck in that first room on my first playthrough because I didn't realize the thing you jump over to get into the room, you can break that wall to fall through it to then get to the rest of the run, basically.
Okay.
And I sort of keep running into that where it's like, well, am I at a dead end? And I start shooting walls and I see, oh, okay, that wall sort of looks like it's a little bit broken. Break that open, go through there, there's a door, and now I can keep going. I feel like it's a little too reliant on that in a way that instead of... Because there are some you can break that you'll find like an attack speed upgrade or damage upgrade or something like that, which I think that's really fun, because you're sort of hunting through the environment to find that stuff. But when it hampers your progression, that's when I start getting a little bit frustrated by it.
Understandably so.
Yeah, and I guess I'm sort of seeing the cues more, almost like, to bring us back to Binding of Isaac, once you start figuring out where secret rooms are going to be and stuff like that, then you sort of start to internalize that. I'm sort of beginning to internalize the tile set of some of the games where it's like, okay, that looks like a broken wall. All right, I busted through that. Now I can keep moving. But other than that, I'm having a really good time. I've always been a little skeptical at whether or not a Metroidvania roguelite would work, and I think he did a really great job at taking those two elements, making them work together in a really great way, and then sort of taking sort of heavy inspiration, but not in a like I stole this stuff way, a heavy inspiration from Super Metroid, which I think is really great. So it's a robot named Fight. It's out now on PC and Switch. I think it's really great. As someone who really likes Metroidvanias and really likes roguelikes, I'm impressed that the marriage of the two, the chocolate plus peanut butter, worked so well. So go check it out. Yeah,
that's definitely something that can fall apart. So I guess I now have this game on my list of more games I need to check out at some point.
Yeah. If you're in Discord, you've probably noticed me sharing code snippets. I decided I've done enough Pico 8 tutorials that I would start my own game, and I have I'm now they call it MVP, a minimum viable product, on my my new game Skull Dodger, where you'll be surprised you dodge skulls.
Really?
Yes. It's I'm not great at naming. I'm also finding out I'm really not great at drawing sprites, but that's a separate problem. I'm having a lot of fun just making these little tiny games. I have learned a whole bunch about this platform and how Pico 8 does its stuff. Eventually, when I have it in a better place, I'll put the game up so people can play it, because right now I have the source code. It is open source. I have the source code checked into my GitHub, and I'm just Jansen on GitHub if anyone wants to look at it. You could play it right now if you do have Pico 8, but it's you have to buy Pico 8, so I don't want to say like, oh yeah, you can play it if you just want to spend the money to buy it. At some point I'll host it so you can just play it in your browser once it's maybe more of a thing. But it's been a really fun experiment trying to figure out, you know, the core of my idea was, wouldn't it be cool if you were a thing dodging other things, sort of like like an old school arcade game or an Atari game or something like that, and then trying to build on top of that for, you know, what are the basics you want your game to have, where it's sort of like, okay, well, I want you to dodge things, but I feel like most of these games have a like screen clearing bomb thing, so at some point I have to put that in, and then figuring out, all right, I'm staring at this blank canvas in the sprite maker. What should I make? Hey, skulls are easy to make. All right, now we're going to dodge skulls.
Was that a case of skulls are easy to make, or
yeah,
skulls are easy to make for you, and then you do it and you realize maybe they're not?
No, I feel like the thing I like about Pico 8's sprite engine, I showed it off in Discord earlier today. It's like what, a 8x8 grid, and you can only use 16 colors. So it very much is like, all right, I'm going to draw a black background for the skull, and then it's just a white skull with like 3 1-pixel teeth. And hey, I have a skull. Because if it was difficult to draw, I probably wouldn't have figured it out. My art is not a natural talent of mine, but
no, me neither.
I'm sort of having fun. I haven't had a lot of time to work on it. That's why I'm that's a major reason why I'm checking it into my GitHub repos, is because I can share that stuff between machines pretty easily. But yeah, I'm just sort of having fun writing a dumb little game, and, you know, learning on a very, very, very micro level some of the frustrations that I'm sure game designers always have. It's like, this is a really great idea. Oh, I don't know how to draw that or implement that or make it work correctly. So I'm having a lot of fun, and I would really recommend Pico 8 to everyone. It is $15, or if you spend $20, you get that, and I think it's called Voxatron. It's their other engine. It's the same thing, but it's a 3D engine where you build stuff with voxels. Which,
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably, I'm a ways away from making anything in that. But I think it's pretty cool, and I like, they did put out 4 fanzines on their website, and each one of them has a tutorial game that they made that they go through step by step, and they build the code with you, as opposed to like dumping out the code and saying like copy and paste and here you go, that's what it does, now you have a game. So those were invaluable for me for the tutorial phases. But 2 thumbs up for that, and I probably won't keep talking about it too much because it's just going to be, yo, I'm programming stuff. But I keep wanting to pimp it because it's just a really cool little product.
Yeah, I mean, it also helps that it's, like, on a more personal point for you, it's probably helping you get back into the whole coding mentality after being a must feed the baby mentality for so long. So it's probably a nice, easy step back into that world. Yeah, it's you know, now that my kid is now 18 months, as of a couple days ago, she's a lot more independent and wants to be more independent, so is less attached at the hip. So it's also it's good for that, and it's sort of good to, like, you know, scrape the cobwebs off of my brain, but it's also a good sort of context switch from the training I'm doing for some of the certification I'm getting. It's really funny. It's fun to say, you know, get a diversion from, all right, I'm watching these videos, I'm taking all these tests, and then over here I'm writing not the world's most complex code, but I write a little bit of code, I go to the console, and I type in run, and my game runs, and it does stuff. You know, I feel like that's one of the biggest
pluses that Pico 8 has is you can write, it's just really like 7 lines of code, I think it is, to get a character on screen, and you can move it with the arrow keys. Like, in less than a couple of minutes, you can have something up and running. And in, you know, that you made and that actually functions. And I think that's really cool that you can just get something working pretty quickly and see your changes pretty rapidly. So.
Oh yeah, definitely helps.
Yeah. But my last game this week is a game I unfortunately have not spent enough time with. I have not had enough time this week, and that's Yakuza 6.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, I'm still in Chapter 1. I've spent, God, maybe like 3 hours. Really not enough. A lot of that was intro. Which makes sense because it's the 6th game, although I guess now 9th or 10th game in the series. I've mentioned before that Sega made that cool interactive website where it's sort of like, you know, which game did you play? Let's catch you up between that game and 6. I looked at a little bit of that, and I feel like after playing 0 and the first Kiwami, that I sort of knew the majority of the characters. So I didn't dive too deeply into that. The game at the beginning also has this kind of interesting segment where the main players in this game are sort of standing around this area, and you can go talk to them and get a little bit of backstory and who they are in relation to Kiryu, the main character. So,
that's a neat touch.
Yeah, I think between the two of those, that helped a lot. But I think even if this is your first Yakuza game, you can figure out pretty quickly like who your friends are and who aren't. So you can just sort of roll with it a little bit. The intro was really good. Of course, because it's a Yakuza game, Kiryu goes to prison for a crime he didn't commit again. Yada yada yada. Hey, I'm out of prison, and I get pulled back into the same town the games always take place in, which is part of the reason why I've spent so much time in Chapter 1 so far, and strangely for me, I thought it would be, well, let's find that slot car racing game place again, and let's just dive deep into that. Number one, that place doesn't exist anymore, which is sort of a bummer. But part of what I like these games doing, and I would probably like it even more if I played all the other ones, is since it takes place in the same city, you know, 0 took place in the early 80s, Kiwami 1 took place, it's like 13 years later, something like that, and then 6 takes place in, I think it's 2016. So it's been really cool to see this town...
like the evolution.
Yeah, because, like, the bowling alley is still there, and Millennium Tower is still there, but they're all different. You know, they've all been sort of... time has progressed, and it's really cool to see that the whole town has progressed at the same time. But, you know, there's your normal store, Don Quixote, is there, and it's still sort of the same layout and sells the same stuff, but... you know, there's a lot more stuff in town. A lot of my time has sort of been, oh, look, cool, here's a Sega arcade place. Let's go pop in there. Oh, they have Puyo Puyo and Virtua Fighter 5. Oh, let's play a little bit of that. Spend 5 minutes with each. So that's been sort of the majority of what I've been doing. I'm probably going to start pushing on the story pretty heavily because I really want to get to 2 things that I think I'm really gonna like. One is the what do they call it? The clan recruitment, clan something. It's basically like you build up your own little crew of thugs and near-do-wells, and you fight against other crews. That sounds really good.
Yeah, it's the Peace Walker Mother Base thing, and it's the kingdom building from that game. I can't remember the name of it because my brain hits. That's the one. Thank you.
And then the other one is the baseball management sim, where you get to be the manager for a kid's baseball team. And you don't play the game, but you do like the recruiting and the AI and all that stuff. So that's gonna be really dangerous too.
Yeah, that sounds really, really dumb until you take into account it's a kids' baseball team, and then it sounds like it could go really stupid really quick.
Yeah. And, like, they have the batting cages are still there, so you can still do, like, home run tournaments, and you can still do a lot of stuff, but I feel like I should continue focusing on the story, at least until I get that stuff unlocked, and from what I'm seeing, by the time you get that stuff, you sort of have the majority of the side stuff unlocked, so that's alright. 3 things I have here in my notes that are interesting to sort of wrap this up. No, there are no loading screens when you walk into a building or like get into an elevator or sort of switch to a different area. There are loading screens when you there's no loading screens when you start a fight either, which is really great. There are loading screens sort of when you load the game, of course, and when you're starting a big mission or stuff like that, but being able to have a lot less loading screens just as you're playing has been really, really cool.
Yeah.
The new leveling system is really interesting. In Zero, you spent money to level up your skills, which I thought was really fun since it took place in Japan in the 80s. Kiwami had very much like, you beat this battle, you got 10 experience, now you need 100 to level up this thing. In 6, they do this different thing where you have 5 categories of experience, and it's like strength, defense, charm, spirit, something like that. And you're sort of taking, for a skill in your list, you're taking at least 1, if not more, sets of points from those pools. And it's
interesting.
It's pretty cool, and it seems to have replaced the completion points system of the previous games. They might have done that in an earlier game, but I don't know that much about it. But so basically, for anyone that hadn't played, the completion points is like play arcade games 5 times you get 1 point, 15 times you get 2 points, 50 times you get 10, something like that. And then if you want to run for longer before you get winded, you need to spend 5 completion points, and then now you can run a little bit longer, and you have maybe multiple levels of run longer before you get winded, and a whole bunch of other stuff. They moved all that stuff into the experience and leveling system now, which doing stuff that would normally get you completion points just gets you experience, like big old pools of experience. So I feel like that's a little bit of a better system, because some of the stuff before was like, win 10 games perfectly in Mahjong. And it's like, I can't. Like, I don't know how to...
Yeah, I don't think anybody here knows how to play it.
Well, the great things they've been doing in the games, and there was a great interview with some of the localizers from Sega saying, like, we had to put a whole bunch of extra stuff in the game to tell people, like, how to play Mahjong, because nobody here typically is going to know how to do that. So they have really good tutorials in some of these games where it's, 50 pages with screenshots and like explaining what these words mean and how to get them and all that stuff. That's a lot of stuff, and I would rather, go hit some home runs at the batting cages.
Yeah.
But I think that's a really cool system, and I think that, for me, that makes it... I feel less pressure to kind of see and do everything, because I'm not really missing out on a bunch of experience now, because you even get experience now for eating food at restaurants. So if you just want a little bit of experience to sort of like push you over to the next level, or like the next skill you want to get, just go have like a couple of hamburgers and a beer, and like you'll get 100 experience. So that's been pretty cool. The only negative I have so far of it is it seems like there are less subtitles in the game overall. There aren't important things, but it's things that have been in there in the other two games I've played, where it's like somebody yells at you at the street, but in other games it'd be like, hey, go get that guy, or hey, what do you think you're doing? That stuff is gone, and like his reaction to eating food, that doesn't have any subtitles, which 99% of the time it's going to be, oh man, that was really good, or delicious. So not crazy critical stuff, but I feel like because I don't speak Japanese, I almost have this like nagging thought that maybe I'm missing something. Like maybe this is the dish he eats and he's like, that was disgusting. Like I don't want to eat that again.
Yeah.
But not the biggest problem, because the translation that's there is good. There are no, misspellings, no grammatical errors, anything like that. There's just like a little bit of stuff that is missing, which makes sense because they're putting out 14 of these games a year to catch up. So at some point, something's got to give. But so far so good. I'm happy that I've jumped into it without too much. Too many issues, especially with characters. Playing Kiwami, I think, helped a lot, because a lot of those characters showed up in the first one, which is really great. But that's all I've been playing. Before we finish the episode, we just have 4 quick releases to talk about, mostly because I want to talk about the last one. Releases for the week of May 7th, Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire comes out PC, OS X, and Linux this week. We had a little bit of confusion about this on PUP, but this is the sequel to Pillars of Eternity. This isn't the first DLC for the second game. So I made sure to look that up. Steins Gate Zero comes to PC. I think it's primarily on Steam. I talked about that, I think it was last year.
Yeah, it was. You talked a lot of Steins Gate. Didn't you play like 3 of them or something?
I also played. Oh, what was the other one? Occult something? No. There was another one I played that I didn't like as much. But Steins Gate Zero is fine. I didn't like it as much as the first game, but sort of a large game to live up to. But if you're interested in the series, don't play this one first. It does not do any sort of intro, so it assumes you know what you're getting into. Death Road to Canada is coming on PS4 and Switch. I meant to look at when it's coming out on Xbox One, and I ran out of time. But that's been a game I've looked at before and sort of kept an eye on, because it's this kind of neat game where you're in this car and you and your friends are traversing across the states to try and get to Canada and escape a zombie attack. It looks pretty fun.
Yeah, stuff like that, like State of Decay comes out as well soon, I know. So stuff like that always tickles my buttons.
Yeah, State of Decay 2, I unfortunately just found out that it does not have a pause function. So
nope.
Goes out of the window for me, unfortunately. As much as I'm looking forward to that game, that's unfortunately a deal breaker. And last release, but certainly not the least, Tacoma comes out on the PS4. Which is a game I know Moonpier liked a lot.
Yep, I genuinely enjoyed that. It helps that I probably didn't play Go Home before playing that, but yeah, I really liked Tacoma.
Yeah. But unfortunately, that's going to be our episode for this week. Because of all of our technical issues, we sort of don't want to work too much on borrowed time and sort of tempt the fates here. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, do so at tvgp.tv. All the links, all the places you can find us, including Discord and all the details about our Marvel Strike Force Alliance, are on the right-hand side of the page. Game Club game, as we mentioned, is Shovel Knight. I think we have I think Moon is right. I think we have 2 weeks until we record that episode. Don't forget to become a patron. The second episode of Old Dog New Flicks is out now. The third episode of Dynamic Soundtrack just went up a couple days ago. Patreon.com/E1M1. $5 is a sweet spot. That's where you get all the good stuff. Or more. I definitely encourage that. And you can follow us on YouTube and Twitch and all those places. Make sure you subscribe and it'll let us know. It will let you know when we go live. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. I have 4 titles.
That was a joke.
Do you have any titles over there?
Yep. It's the handwriting check time. He goes for the dab. Marvel Galaxy of Heroes. I was sad to see it go. We could go home. Wink. And tickling all of your buttons.
Marvel Galaxy of Heroes is good. And we could go home. Wink. We could go home. I guess that's an asterisk. Wink. I did hashtag never miss a week. Just break everything. It usually involves getting stabbed a lot. And I could do without the dab.
I kind of do like hashtag never miss a week because it's very appropriate.
Yeah, that one's really strong. That's probably my favorite one. I also like it usually involves getting stabbed a lot, but it's pretty long.
It's pretty long, yeah.
Jimbo Jangles in chat says, experience for burgers and beers, I would have reached max level in my early 20s. Yeah, during college, I would have been level 99.
Yeah. Burgers, yes. Beers, not so much for me.
Yeah. Alright, I'm just going to do hashtag never miss a week, because I think that's pretty funny.
Yeah, and it's definitely appropriate. I mean, let's face it, I'm on a cell phone right now. Come on.
Yeah, we're making... the next thing is you fly a string and a tin can out here to California, and we just hold it up in front of our mics.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of do wish that I had one of those plug-in old school big handsets, so I could actually pretend like I was using a rotary phone.
Right. All right, let's get started here in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 550 from May 7th, 2018. Hashtag never miss a week.
What technical difficulties?
All right, thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out with us and hanging in with us while we're fighting technical difficulties. As always, thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for chatting, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye bye. I waved to the camera again.